Hi, my name is Sydney Ibera, and today I wanted to talk to you about style and identity within documentary filmmaking. I will be using the presentation provided for week 2 to help me accomplish this video essay and build off of those concepts with a specific example of a documentary that I enjoy. So, the catalyst for documentary filmmaking was when two men, somewhere in the late 1800s and early 1900s, decided to make small short films about their own everyday lives and the lives of those surrounding them. These two men were known as the Lumiere brothers and gained success for films such as Workers Leaving the Lumiere Factory in Lyon and The Arrival of a Train. In 1922, Nanook of the North, the first feature-length documentary, was created by Robert Flaherty. This film was about the lives of an indigenous Inuk family in Quebec, Canada, and incorporated both documentary-style filmmaking and elements of docudrama and docufiction. During this time in the silent era, the nomenclature of these types of films didn't necessarily exist distinctly. Films would often be referred to as documentaries and docudramas if they happen to fit that category. In the early 1900s, many documentary films were made by members of the military from Germany, the United States, Britain. They were considered propaganda used in response to the events happening during the war. In the 1950s, cinema verite emerged, creating a new style of documentary filmmaking with a narrative aspect as well. These productions often included small camera crews, limited equipment, and natural dialogue by subjects. Between the 1960s and the 1990s, documentaries were produced and distributed to a larger audience on television, mainly focused on education. Now that we have some background knowledge on the history of documentaries, I want to discuss some of the techniques involved in making them. A-roll footage is usually the main subject or information being presented in the documentary, often in the form of interviews, if applicable. An example of this would be an interview of someone who was in New York during the 9/11 terrorist attacks. B-roll, on the other hand, is the supplementary part of the footage. The visual images establish what is going on or what the film is about. It lets the audience be immersed in the subject, while also hearing the real experiences of the interviewees. An example of B-roll is short clips of the attack, how the city looked after, and the people who were there. The last technique I'll discuss is voiceover, which is pretty much exactly what it sounds like and what I'm doing right now. Voiceover helps carry the story and its purpose along, whether it's for educational purposes or a call to action. There are multiple methods to voiceover. One is through interviewees speaking about their own experiences, and one is through a narrator. This narrator is knowledgeable about the subject at hand, and explains the events in the documentary, almost as if they were teaching the audience. The last thing that I'd like to cover in this video essay is one of my favorite documentaries, Netflix's Trainwreck, Woodstock 99. This is a 3-part docuseries about the infamous third attempt of a Woodstock festival. This festival was founded by Michael Lang, who attended the original 1969 Woodstock. While the original festival promoted peace, love, and music, Woodstock 99 stood for being reckless, doing as many types of drugs as possible, and just unsafe practices. It included artists such as Alanis Morissette, Limp Bizkit, Korn, and Fatboy Slim. Overall, the festival just turned into mayhem, with people suffering from dehydration and hunger, unsanitary bathrooms, water contaminated by fecal matter, sexual assault, and large fires being set in the middle of the field during the Red Hot Chili Peppers concert, to be exact. During the film, what I really enjoyed was how the filmmaker, Jamie Crawford, brought back a good handful of the people who were actually there during the event. They were able to provide first-hand experiences that they had, which painted the terrible picture of the festival to watchers, along with the B-roll footage that was included. In some cases, the people in the B-roll footage were brought in for the interviews as adults. It was interesting to see everyone's point of view on this dreadful event. Some people said that it was the most traumatic experience they've ever been through, and some people said that even after seeing the aftermath, they would definitely do it again. The interviews gave an insight of the types of people that attended that event. The documentary also included footage of when the planners of the festival had realized it was going south, and interviews of Michael Lang, who didn't seem to be very apologetic about it in the end. Overall, documentary filmmaking and the techniques used to make them are very unique and can be applicable to many types of subjects, whether that's events, specific people, education, and so much more. I hope to make a documentary film in the future.